All right, so Kyle Kulinski, I haven't talked about this guy for a little while. I think the last time I talked about him was when you said Alan Greenspan, the former Fed chairman before Bernanke, was some sort of uber libertarian, which in the 70s and 80s he did have a lot of libertarian rhetoric. But if you know even page one of his policies, when he was in power, you would realize just how ignorant it would be to suggest that Greenspan was in any way a libertarian or representative of our ideas. So Kyle Kulinski leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to his take on economics, but I did see this video and I wanted to point out a few ridiculous things. First off, he's trying to sell the boring old tired line that it isn't really inflation, it's corporate greed, or at best, corporations are using inflation as an excuse to raise prices more than they need to. Okay, there's a few problems with this. First off, I do just want to say that if you're going to talk about inflation and try and blame rising prices on something else, that's perfectly fine, but I can't take you seriously at all if you don't at least mention and explain away the fact that 40% of all US dollars that have ever existed have been created in the past year and a half. If you make a 7-minute video trying to downplay inflation and instead just blame corporations and you don't even mention that little fact, then on with the next one. No one should take you seriously. You can't dance your way past that and not give an accounting for it. All right, so now corporate greed. Here we go again. This both works and doesn't work. And what I mean is Kyle has a little bit of a point here. He's upset that corporate profits are way up. And okay, I actually am too, but I think we come to that feeling through slightly different paths. Kyle just says it's corporate greed. Well, how original. Now, unlike him, I'm upset with this because it just might be that if the state absolutely annihilates small businesses with lockdown measures for over a year, that in essence is the government killing off all the businesses that were in competition with those corporations. Those corporations now suck up all the market share. And yeah, they're going to benefit. You can be mad at corporations, that's fine. But it's a little bit like an organizer of a marathon breaking the ankles of all the runners except for their friends, and you come along calling them cheaters, and you've got nothing to say about the organizer when all of your attention and criticism should be focused on the organizer who broke everyone's ankles. That's what we've got here. Government kills the competition off, the big guy benefits, and you're upset with the big guys. Meanwhile, you still lend support to the government and the politicians who are all for it. If you want to call some of these industries monopolistic, I would say technically no, they're not, but we certainly moved in that direction, and you have only the government to blame for that. But you don't blame them, you seem to enjoy them. Now, other than that, I think it's worth pointing out that not for nothing, inflation really is a real thing. Take grocery stores, for example. You got Kroger's, Giant, Stop and Shop, ShopRite, Ralph's, Safeway, Food Lion, Sam's Club, the list goes on and on and on. All of these stores, even the smaller local grocery chains, have had their prices rise. Now, if there was ever a time where lower prices would have you moving units like crazy, it would be right now, because people are definitely scouting out lower prices and good deals, but they're nowhere to be found. That isn't some monopolistic corporate effect from their greed. That is inflation, massive, unprecedented increases in the money supply. I don't think Kyle realizes this, but he's actually complimenting major corporations in a big way, because what he is saying is that these corporations could have always raised their prices sky high, but the only thing holding them back was inflation wasn't in the news enough. Well, wow, what a small thing to hold their greed at bay. I guess they're not that greedy, because that's the other thing. People like Kyle Kulinski say that inflationary effects really aren't a result of money printing, or at least not as much as people think it is. It's more of a phenomenon of talking about inflation. It gets the idea into all these businesses' heads, so that's the reason they raise prices. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. Okay, so I guess all the inflationary periods throughout all human history, even before a press or a media in any real sense existed, I guess that just never happened. Inflation hasn't been an economic phenomenon that has shown its ugly head throughout all of human history. We can just print all the money we'd like, and if we just don't talk about it or point it out, we're all good. This is ridiculous beyond words. So the last thing I want to mention, and this is my favorite thing, is that Kulinski kind of signs off at the end of this video by saying that our problems stem mainly from our inability to unchain ourselves from Reaganomics and Austrian economics. Yeah, he actually said that. Our problem is that we have Austrian economics at the helm here. I mean, holy crap. Now, Reaganomics leaves a lot to be desired, so I have not much interest in defending that. But Austrian economics, really, you think that Austrian economics has been winning the day in the political realm? Hell, in just this video alone, I mentioned government completely killing off untold number of small businesses, totally clearing the way for those big corporations, and I mentioned the fact that 40% of all US dollars have been printed in the past year and a half. No need to even mention our 70,000 plus page Federal Register and over a decade of Fed policy crushing interest rates to nothing, which massively distorts the entire economy from what it would otherwise be in a free market. To seriously suggest that Austrian economics is a major player in the political realm, that's on a level of ignorance that's really tough to comprehend, honestly. I have a tough time getting my head around what the hell is going on in the head of Kyle Kulinski and people who think like him. But you know what? It shouldn't be shocking from the guy that thought Alan Greenspan should be praised by libertarians. This guy just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about at all, and the people who watch his stuff really should be made aware of that. But anyway, that's all for now. Like, subscribe, share this video. It's extremely appreciated, and you take it easy.